Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever and whenever this finds you. How you doing? I'm Aimee DeRoehn. I'll be the one walking you through this meditation. I'm going to create it with you very organically as I go. So I don't have anything in front of me. This is just, we'll figure it out together. How about that? On the morning of this meditation, I am out at the ocean in Seacoast, New Hampshire, in a crazy coastal blizzard. Kind of treacherous driving, however, just had to get some air. So if you have, in your own personal human experience, a need to get some air, a need to get space, and a need to get clear and kind of hit the reset button, I'm right there with you, and we'll do it together. If you're not familiar with meditation, it's totally fine. You can't fuck this up. Know that. But I do want you to go and get, for everybody out there, new or not, go get a pillow, go get a few blankets, something that you can sit on so that your hips are higher than your knees. Take a moment, pause this, and go do that. And come back to me. I'll be right here waiting. All right, you good to go? You want to take the pressure out of your low back. So if your hips are higher than your knees, that can take some of that strain out of your lumbar, okay? I want you as comfortable as possible. You're welcome to sit on the floor. You're welcome to sit on a bed or a chair. You can lie down if you want, but you might get relaxed and go to sleep. So it's up to you. And if you do that, then your body's probably tired and trying to tell you something. Either way, find a way for you to get space, be uninterrupted, and give yourself just a little break. And then you can reconvene with your day or evening, however it's going. Start by bringing your 10 fingertips together. And as you bring your 10 fingertips together, let your arms rest right on your thighs. Okay? And I'm actually doing this right in my car, like I said, right in front of the ocean. So I'm just going to pull my seat back. You can probably hear the whirring from the electric seat. Okay. I should probably put the heat on my seat because my butt's getting cold. But we'll work with what we have, right? I bet you're really good at that too. With your 10 fingertips touching, I would like you to look straight ahead of you, your eyes eye level, your chin tucked in just slightly. And I want you to get all your breath out. Open your mouth super wide and just move it through. That exhalation is a clearing. It's not just a clearing of carbon dioxide, it's a clearing of whatever else you have going on in your life. Holding our breath is something we unconsciously do. And we really, when we're busy, we're in a hurry, or we're stressed, scared, tense, angry. So right now, let go of some of that. Okay, when you clear that out, then you've got room to take a breath in. So now do that. Now please open your mouth. And I want you to put your first 2 fingers at the base of your throat. On the base of your throat, gently press in. Open your mouth wide, exhale everything you have. There's a pause, and then you're going to take a breath in. Your fingers can stay at the base of your throat, so you actually feel your throat muscles contract. Then you open your mouth super wide, move it through. All out, bottom of your lungs. you're smart. You're going to actually become aware and notice that the more you exhale everything you got and you clear it, there's more room for inhale. When there's more room for inhale, you're going to have a way to think clearer. You're going to have exhales released, which will release a little bit of tension, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, it's all connected. So you release a little bit of the grip that you're probably not even aware you're holding, and you're going to come out of a little bit of survival state so you can just get really, really clear with what is. When you recognize that you're releasing the exhalation that will release some tension, you'll be able to better manage whatever is. I needed this practice years ago, and I fought it for a long time. We usually do fight and resist where we're going to end up anyway and what is truly so good for us. But I've learned enough by now, like 12 years later, like this works. It doesn't mean that your life will be rosy, but it does mean that you will be able to start to gather inner quiet, inner calm, inner solitude to handle things, to handle your shit day to day. Okay? You get a little bit of tension released, you come back down, so to speak, get out of your head a little bit, and you create space for clarity so that you can have insights, so that you can just sort of have a knowing from within yourself, different than ego, but a knowing within yourself what you need to do. You get hunches, things like that. You try them out, and that is how you'll actually know, oh wow, my intuition is actually like a real thing. It's not out in the ether. So the practice of meditation will allow you to get centered so that you can think clearer, so that your mind is a little quieter, so you can think with a little more, light and clarity. To see things as they are and what you need to do, how you manage things, so that you have space for resolution in a problem. When you're knitted up with a problem, there's no room for resolve. Again, I offer you something because I need it as much as you. 10 fingertips are touching. You've cleared some breath out. I'd like you to just take a look down at your thumb tips. If you're familiar with meditation or you've done this with me before, feel free to close your eyes or keep your eyes wide open. If you're somebody who struggles with a lot of anxious thoughts or, racing thoughts, etc., can create more anxiety if you close your eyes. So do whatever you need to do. Keep your eyes open or closed. Your call. But just stare down at your thumb tips, okay? Your thumb tips are touching. You are wanting to feel your physical thumb tips touching. Your physical thumb tips touching. You'll know it by how it feels, or by the feeling of it. How will your mind know? Because you'll physically feel it. Might feel warm, might feel kind of like a current of energy. Everyone's got a different level of sensitivity based on how open or closed they are emotionally. Sensitivity to the feel of things comes from emotional body. It doesn't come from the mental body. The emotional body tries to communicate with the mental body, but often we're elsewhere, or we're just too jam-packed with everybody else's to-do or expectations or to-do list for us or opinion. No, just beam your focus as if your physical eyes could radiate concentration into thumb tips, and your forehead center can just drill a pathway of mind to physically feel thumb tips, and that's it. If you're newer to this and you want to take the other fingertips apart, just focus on the actual thumbs. Do whatever you got to do. When you have the physical feeling, you'll realize, wow, I'm not thinking. I'm actually feeling my fingertips, my thumb tips touching. That means that you're actually creating a giant pause in your mental thoughts. Personality, mind is all that you think about from how you grew up and what everyone told you and blah, blah, blah. You get a break from that. You're breaking from that. And you are really in the now moment. Thumb tips are touching. That's it. Hear my voice. It's getting you back to yourself. Your thumb tips touching. That's it. Your mind is used to wandering off and not being in the present moment. That's okay. Just steer it back around without judgment, without criticism, without shaming, or getting frustrated with yourself. Oh, I'm screwing this up. No, just drop right out of that story and beam right back to thumb tips. And you'll just do that as often as you need to get your mind to really be with the thumb tips. And as you do that, and the more you do it, the more it begins to build a habit for your mind to stay on one thing. Thumb tips physically touching. Now, take your mind over to your first fingertips touching. Again, if you need to and you're really having a hard time concentrating, the mind has moods just like we do every single day, you know. So just do what works for today. First fingers touching and no other fingertips, or maybe just thumb tips and first fingers. How about that? And you'll start to feel, oh yeah, having the two together is stronger than the two fingers apart. Try it out. Take your first fingers apart, just a little bit, bring them back together. See how it fuses the mind with the physical knowing. The index fingers are touching. You're not pushing them against each other. They're just gently pressing. Very little pressure though. All your concentration radiates straight through the forehead center, right into first fingers. That's it. That's all that needs to be on your plate for thought. Break from your usual thinking, usual stressor-filled mind, worried mind, anxious mind. Give it a break. Drop your focus on just your first fingers. You have the rest of the day or evening to think all you want. But if we give our mind a break, we give a little space, we then can come back with a clearer head. Like, that's not a concept, that's real. Fast for a little bit from your usual stressful mind. And you'll realize, wow, maybe my headache eased up too. There are a lot of people out there with stress, headaches, tension, migraine, headaches. Yet those are usually people that think all the time. And if they're not able to be physically active, then they pretty much live from the neck up. No wonder their head hurts. If their thoughts are stressful, bitter, critical, judgmental, shaming, that's just energy that's taken up residency. No wonder the head hurts. Bring your focus to your middle fingers touching, please. So we've done the thumbs. You had a space to be there. You did the index fingers. You had a space to be there. Go to your middle fingers now. Hone your concentration on middle fingertips touching. Get really present. Breaking with your thoughts and getting you present helps you to get connected and plug back into reality, to your own actions, to your reactions, etc. And to the truth, to the voice of your intuition, to your creative self. That's all very subtle. Middle fingers touching. Those energies are very subtle. The internal thinking is also very subtle, especially because it stays internal. It can have a giant hold on us or over us or against us, and a wounded ego, a defensive ego. However, you come back to middle fingers touching. Middle fingers touching. You'll notice that there are thoughts that you'll have that you won't even be conscious of because you've had them so much. It's like autopilot thinking. And it'd be wise sometimes for us to examine them. It'd be wise for us to question them. Especially thoughts we've had for ages that create a belief system. They create a structure and grid of our way of thinking. And usually that comes from a lot of other people. It comes from our childhood, the things we made up about ourselves. Say somebody was picked on. I'm still with your middle fingers and I'm with my own here. Say somebody out there was picked on from a young age. Could be by a bullying father, could be by a school teacher or classmates. And say that child took all of it as a message. Nobody likes me. But say that never healed. Say that always stayed, kind of rooted deeply in the back of the brain. But it kind of plays out, all the time, years later, where that child grows up and still has the unconscious child belief that never was examined, therefore never could be healed. Middle fingers still touching. Never was given any more information to that statement and could still be taking it on all the time. What about a woman who was cheated on 5 years ago by a boyfriend? And then her father cheated on her mother. So she already had that whole storyline going from a young age. And it never was healed. And she took it to mean all men suck. All men are dicks. All men are douchebags. And the person who cheated on her, quite like the patterning, probably created an unconscious internal belief, I'm not worthy of somebody being faithful to me. And then she goes into relationship with a sense of distrust. Valid, but if unhealed, usually goes into the next relationship. However, if healed, doesn't have to. Third fingers touching, please. The Buddha always says the mind creates our world. Third fingers touching. But I think we all have a little Buddha in us that is wise enough to go into some of these things, perhaps that we grew up with. Perhaps we were very influenced by the person who taught them to us, whether it was directly said or stated, or whether it was embodied through their actions and their ways of doing things. Either way, it's okay. It is okay in 2018 to send some of your root beliefs, some of that conditioning, some of the stresses, some of the worries, straight out into this coastal storm. Third fingers are touching. Feel the energy of the third fingers coming together. They're already together, but now the mind feels them. Now take the third fingers apart, but stare down at them. Now bring the third fingers together. There should be, just even slightly, a sense of relief in the mind. The third fingers are together. Now everything feels better. And you're also, through meditation, quieting your mind so you can practice being more with your own feel. And I know there's people out there that say, I don't like to get into my feels. But if you can't get into your feels, then you might miss something or someone that would be good for you emotionally. If you can't get into your feels, there's a reason that you turned away or shut that off. There was an experience that got you to think, I'm closing down. And I know there's a lot of experiences in life where we can close down. Trust me, I know. Third fingers touching. But we need the heart and we need the head. And the heart never steers us wrong. The head, though, will come up with all kinds of shit. That's how you know the head's scared. Girls that meet somebody great and then go, I don't want to get into my feels, or guys that meet somebody great and they immediately look for all kinds of reasons why that person's not that great. That person's usually scared. Bring your attention to your pinky fingers, please. Beam all your concentration into your pinky fingers touching. Third eye center. Bullet the feel of your actual pinky fingers touching together. Send it straight back to the mind. So just, the pinky fingers are on one end of your soup can telephone, and it's sending the message right to the brain. The other end of the soup can telephone. Pinky fingers touching. One of the reasons I love to teach meditation personally is to help people get a little space from a lot of worried mind, anxious mind, stressful mind, hurried mind. Because when you're in such a hurry, you'll often miss things that are just the most extraordinary things. Because when you're in a hurry, your ego's, kind of flooring the gas pedal, and it's so easy to bypass just the most beautiful moments you might not notice otherwise. And the other reason I love to teach meditation is because through focusing on the physical pinky fingers right here, right now, you are creating this simply as a portal, a pathway to your own gut, inner knowing. Call it intuition, call it I just knew, call it whatever the fuck you want. But we all have it. But a lot of times we live in our head. So we miss it. I can't tell you. There are 3 giant things in my life. 4. There are 4 giant tragedies in my life. That could have gone completely a different way. Had I trusted my own intuition over someone, even someone who I was so close to. But told me they thought I should do it this way. Or they thought I shouldn't dare speak out loud. Or I shouldn't tell the truth. I like to help people get out of their heads, and I like to help people get back to cultivating inner strength, mentally and emotionally, and I like to help people get back to their intuition so that they don't miss out the way I have. Because the things I've missed out on, they're losses that I'm awake to every day. And I can't even say that out loud without choking up. If I can do anything to create just a little less suffering for you, for things you know you knew, you wished you had done something about, and everyone thought you were crazy because you just felt it, that's usually what happens. That just means you're empathic, you're not a nut job, and it means that you're actually sensitive. Therefore, sensory oriented. Please. I think that that's also my purpose in life. To help you manage your day-to-day better and to trust yourself from the inside more. There are people on the outside that are genuinely will give you guidance or opinion or insights that are for your best. And then there is a whole lineup of people that want to see you not listen to yourself, not trust yourself. And they're purposely giving you shitty advice that's just could drop your life off a cliff. Use your own sense. I'll tell you what I wish somebody would have loved me enough to tell me. All 10 of your fingertips are touching. It's scary to listen to your own intuition. It means you have to have a sense of self. When you live emotionally to survive by making sure the people in your life, especially family, those closer to you, maybe a colleague, maybe a best friend, etc., you need them to be okay with you all the time, which, trust me, can change on a dime. You will become codependent. You'll become emotionally dependent on how they love and approve of you and feel about you so that you can feel okay about you. And I think that framework has to be torn down. I think our life experiences are telling us, come back to yourselves. Get humble, come back to what you know. Use your voice. Be a stand. Stop just letting things happen, whether it's to you or to others around you, that are not right. And you're You know it from the fiber of your own knowing. Do what you're being guided to do. Stop second-guessing yourself. Stop self-doubting. If you do this, it's because you haven't had an opportunity to really strengthen intuition. You have too many people in your damn gourd, and you might need to clear some people out. So the right ones who really are for your highest and best, that your intuition knows, that your heart knows, that your soul knows, that's a true tribe. But to create that from the inside out, so your life can be what it was meant to be. That's my wish for you. Happy New Year. Namaste. Trust yourself more, please. And start feeling safe and secure inside yourself.